Hey gang, welcome back to Tired Old Queen at the Movies. Now if you weren't paying attention, you might have missed Steve's birthday last week. And if you did, shame, shame, shame. But don't worry, he'll be 21 all year long, so you can send him a birthday message anytime you'd like. Now let's go see the little fella and see what he's got for us this week. Come on.
No, Johnny! Oh, God, come on!
Oh, Tired Old Queen at the Movies, so...
Johnny, I just celebrated a very big birthday about a week ago. And so I decided that I wanted to do something that tied in with something that I'm going to be doing on stage. So I chose George Cukor's production of Camille from 1937 with Greta Garbo and Robert Taylor. This was a great, great big movie for Greta Garbo.
For the Lady of the Camellias.
And it really should have won her the Academy Award. It had a huge production. It was directed by the great woman's director, George Cukor. And it was one of the greatest romantic movies ever.
Because his eyes have made love to me all evening.
That's a lie.
She plays a French courtesan who has just a touch of TB, which is gradually killing her. And he's this young man who is madly in love with her. The courtesans at this time were usually taken care of by someone, and someone bought them an apartment. Another man would take care of them for a while, and they'd buy them a carriage, or they'd buy them a wonderful clothing. And she is being kept by Henry Daniell, who is the meanest of the mean villains.
Here's the 40,000 francs you need. But this is my last act of consideration.
Usually the big three mean villains were Basil Rathbone, Claude Rains, and Henry Daniell. Henry Daniell always had a face, such a wooden face like this. He looked like he got up in the morning and the first thing he did was smack a baby.
Theory. But why?
He really looked like even, and he does humiliating things to Garbo,
Thank you.
He's just insanely jealous of the fact that she's in love with Robert Taylor. She drops her fan in public and he makes her pick it up herself, just these terrible things. Meanwhile, she's dressed to the nines in Adrian dresses. She has these gorgeous close-ups.
After all, when one may not have long to live, why shouldn't one have fancies?
She had a luminous quality. She has an enigmatic quality that nobody else quite ever got. She was a natural screen actress. Bette Davis used to say, my God, look what she does. She does practically nothing. Garbo herself was a very, very strange woman. She was a bisexual. She had love affairs with women and men simultaneously. She lived a very reclusive life. She retired early. She invested in a lot of paintings. She would, whenever she needed money, she'd take a Picasso off the wall and sell it. And she lived in New York, and she never went back. She remained a great star and enigma because she never went back. They tried to get so many productions and get her to come out of retirement, and she just wouldn't do it. MGM had sabotaged her to a degree because she cost them too much money, and they realized they had new stars coming up that didn't cost them as much money. They did the same thing with Joan Crawford. They did the same thing with Norma Shearer. But in this particular situation, she had the #1 production.
Nobody can do it as well as I can.
Cukor directing in terms of the cinematography, in terms of the costume, the production. They go to the country, and she's like, oh, I don't know, I can't go to the country, can't go to the country. And of course it's MGM country, so it's the most gorgeous, country house you've ever seen, and these rolling hills and cows in the background, and, it's just gorgeous. But, it's everybody's idea of what the country ought to look like. It kind of never does. She, on the other hand, never loses who she is as this character. You are madly in love with her from the beginning to the end. This is one of the great tearjerkers of all time, one of the great tragedies. And I think you're going to love it.
Oh, thank you.
For what?
never having been in love.
In the 1970s, this incredible playwright named Charles Ludlam wrote his version of Camille. He had a theater company called the Ridiculous Theater Company, and he was an avid movie fan, and he was so brilliant and so funny. And his version of Camille was very, very famous. And they're doing a revival of it, and they've asked me to do it. So below you'll see information on how you can come and see me play Marguerite in Camille. And for you, I'm giving you one of the great tearjerkers.
Now you've put tears on my hand. Why?
Get out the Kleenex, sit back, have a good cry with Greta Garbo and Robert Taylor in George Cukor's incredible Camille.
Let's all go to the lobby.
Let's all go to the lobby. You know, this is how she's got consumption. Yeah. But it works.